Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of This Nintendo Life. It is our E3 post-show wrap-up, our E3 special for this year. And I'm joined, as always, by Bally. Hello Bally, how are you doing?
Hi MBZ, I'm not in quite the high spirits I was last year, let's just say.
Yeah, let's just say that it's probably not going to be a fun to listen to podcast. Look, got to face harsh realities, and we're here to talk about Nintendo, whether they do incredible stuff or whether they fuck up royally. So we're here.
And there's some good stuff. There's definitely some good stuff to talk about. So
sure, there's some stuff, but anyway, we have kind of a rundown of stuff that's happened here. Before we jump into this, Bal, I just want to talk quickly about the Nintendo World Championships, because that was kind of the pre-show for Nintendo.
Definitely.
And they had some interesting stuff there. Let's start things off with the stupidly ridiculous announcement that I don't think anyone in their right mind saw coming. Before the championship even started, they got Shigesato Itoi out on, not on stage, but in a video presentation.
Like his own little direct.
Yeah, basically a mini little video message from him, and people were like, holy shit, are they going to announce Mother 3? And they didn't announce Mother 3, they instead announced that they are bringing the first Earthbound game, or as it's known in Japan, Mother, the original Mother game, to Virtual Console. The English localization, which was apparently done about 20 years ago, is now on the Virtual Console. What the fuck? That's one of the craziest things.
Earthbound Beginnings.
I kind of feel like if this had been in the Nintendo Digital event, people would have been a bit more positive on it, don't you think? Like,
yeah.
This as an announcement in that, I think, would have been much more of a megaton.
I mean, there was literally nothing Virtual Console related in the digital event, and we'll get to that when we get there, but
yeah,
you're right. I think, looking back, it was probably a bad idea to move this announcement to the Sunday, not stick it on the Tuesday.
Yeah, it was just completely out of nowhere, like, absolutely surprising, and everyone was like super excited about it. So I mean, apparently that game isn't particularly great. The original Earthbound is better, a lot of people seem to think, but it's amazing that it's on there, and it kind of gives the indication that with all that Smash Brothers stuff happening with Lucas, that there is a real chance that Mother 3 will be localized for North America.
I think it's a certainty by now. It's just
a
matter of when.
Right, like they've acknowledged it so many times. It's definitely happening. I thought it may happen during the digital event, but it didn't. So, be that as it may, that was a crazy great announcement. So, like, that was kind of, if that was a sign of things to come, I think this E3 could have been incredible. But unfortunately, it was kind of like this high peak where there weren't many others. Yeah, we'll get to that. But let's talk more about the Nintendo World Championship. What do you think of this event in general, Bally? How do you feel about it?
It was overall really good. There were definitely some low points that we'll get to, I'm sure, but the high points were really cool and definitely left us a lot more pumped about Super Mario Maker, as it's been renamed.
They've
coming out
given
later.
That
but yeah, so that part, seeing incredibly high level gamers playing an incredibly innovative and tough game like some of the levels that were created for Super Mario Maker was definitely my high point.
Absolutely. That really, I didn't think the rest of the event was that great, honestly. Like, the Splatoon stuff was nice to,
I enjoyed the speed running more than the multiplayer.
Yeah, absolutely. That multiplayer stuff did not seem good at all, especially when you have these terrible commentators and the child that was on stage. Like, Nintendo, never work with animals and children. Never work with animals and children. Yeah. Bad idea. That was terrible. So they needed to sort that shit out, and they didn't. Well,
I think a big problem with it was that, especially on Splatoon and Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, I think they didn't name the players, so they made a big deal about all the speedrunners they got on and these guys from the internet on, and they were like, we've got these cool characters that you all know, and then they didn't name them in the game. They're just called like Player 1, etc. And
yeah, so you have no fucking clue who anyone
exactly.
is.
So that was a complete facepalm moment. It's like, come on, you've been planning this. Let's just name them at least,
Yeah, that was horrible. Like it made me just not care about those Splatoon matches, and it kind of disengaged me quite a bit. It was fine because I was just fucking snarking on Twitter about it, but
the snark was so high, so strong.
Yeah. Twitter really did make this event for me, honestly. Like, I'm not sure I could have got through it without Twitter, but that end sequence was the best thing. I mean, there was some nice Zelda speedrunning stuff, some nice Mario stuff happening, Super Metroid.
Reggie coming on stage to get his ass kicked.
Oh, that was
good
fun.
fun.
That
was fun.
The Hungry Box segment was amazing. That was really good fun. Reggie was terrible at Smash Brothers, and of course, they had the Smash Brothers Direct beforehand.
Yeah, we should mention that.
Which would have been such a huge thing if they had not had it leak. Which I think that was really unfortunate that happened, and it kind of took the wind out of their sails. But we have Roy and Lucas and Ryu, and they're all playable right now, and 2 more stages and the Miiverse stage. Great stuff for Smash Brothers. Really great stuff. Again, it kind of makes you think if they hadn't done this in its own Nintendo Direct, they could have just bundled it into the digital event and made that way stronger.
Yeah, I agree. This is another strong announcement that they've spent a lot of time on, obviously, judging by the price. So this should have been in the digital event. I would have even argued that you just create a separate Amiibo Direct and then have the characters and all the good stuff in the digital event. So yeah, that was maybe a misstep to with the timing of that event, but great announcements, and we've already played the 3 characters, and they're great, aren't they?
Yeah, oh, amazing. Like, this is easily one of my favorite things to come out of E3 for the fact that it's here right now and I can play it right now, Like, a lot of these things, like, okay, we can wait for this in the future. This is now, and you can do it, so go ahead. They're all out there. Good stuff. So, the finale, of course, we kind of mentioned before, but man, I'm excited for Mario Maker now, and I didn't think I would be saying that. It was one of those games that I wasn't even sure I was going to even buy, because I'm so burned out on, the new Super Mario Bros. Series, and what they've done with Mario in recent years, 2D-wise, has not been up my street. I just haven't connected with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Seeing those levels and seeing those guys play those levels made me this is, magical. This is so, so cool, and the stuff they did with that really took my breath away, honestly.
I was really concerned that, what we'd seen was all they were going to be able to do. We'd already seen quite a lot of innovation, and you were like, yeah, of course they can do... I can't even think of an example, but, I don't know, stick Bowser in this really crazy place, whereas the levels that they showed here were just unbelievable. They put an awful lot of time and work into those stages to make sure that they were hard as nails. They had some tons of traps, things like that. The physics with stuff like throwing the Koopa shells through these mazes of obstacles was just incredible. And I agree with you, MBZ. I'm super excited for this game. I think it's now a day one purchase for me, and I really look forward to seeing how they go about sharing those cool stages. And that's one thing we still don't know, unfortunately.
They spent so much time on the digital event talking about this game, and yet we still don't know anything about the online sharing. What does that tell you? I don't know. It's
but
a
they're
little
still
scary.
Working on it.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe that's partly what they're doing with DNA, is using their infrastructure to do that stuff, but who knows? I guess we'll find out eventually. But yeah, it was good. We saw all 4 of the art styles. The physics seemed different between them. That was something of a concern that we were kind of discussing beforehand. Do you agree with me now, Bally, that the physics are different and that they do different mechanics in each one? Because there was wall jumping in
I
Super
agree,
Mario
yes.
Brothers and stuff like that. So
I'm not going to deny that there was definitely wall jumping, and you can't do that in the other levels. But I'm still convinced the physics are unified.
I don't think so. You're crazy. I just do not think that's the case. It did not look like that to me at all. So we'll see. But it's different. Anything else that we saw at this Nintendo Championship?
Do you think they'll do it again next year, or do you think they'll go for something different again?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think it went down pretty well.
We saw we saw Blast Ball in the thing.
Oh yeah, they did reveal that there.
We can get to maybe later.
Yeah, how about we get to that later?
Sure.
Let's try and jump in here with the actual digital event. So that was all the pre-stuff. That was all Sunday. And
they kind of stole Sunday though as a result. Between Smash Brothers and the World Championships, it was a really kind of hype time for Nintendo. They did some really great announcements, and I think Sunday worked well.
it was a good primer, and then it was like they didn't. It's like they had the main event before the pre-event, almost in many ways. But anyway, let's get to the Nintendo Digital event. Just happened like an hour ago, and there was some things that were announced in it. Not that many things, but we'll talk about the ones that are relevant. So we kick it off, and it is an amazing start. They have partnered with, clearly, the Muppets, and they had Iwata and Reggie and Miyamoto as Muppets, and this segment was my favourite thing in the entire Nintendo Digital
It's Jim
event.
Henson, but yes, Jim Henson makes the Muppets.
Right. So they basically had a partnership with those guys, and wow, that was awesome. I thought that was like such a good sign of things to come. You know, they did the Robot Chicken stuff last year, which was amazing, and that kind of primed us for the announcements they had there. This year, it was the best thing in the entire event, and that should really tell you what we thought of the entire event.
From like an artistic perspective, and what the director of that digital event has done. It was just done incredibly well in terms of music, the shots, the cutaways, all those sort of technical things were just so well done that it really showed the advantage you can have in doing a pre-recorded event versus a live press conference. Like, it just worked so well. And obviously they're puppets, not people, but it worked amazingly well.
Yeah, I kind of wish now that there's a Nintendo game that uses that as an art style. You know, they go with all these weird, crazy things like the Clay and Kirby and the Woolly World stuff. Have a game that's like in a puppet style.
Next year will be in like South Park style or something.
Oh man, God, that would be kind of crazy. You know what I was thinking is that maybe that was the art style that they were going to use for Star Fox. I would have been so fine with that. I think that would have been incredible.
If you look at like the box art for the original Star Fox on NES, it looks a lot like that. Like they actually
I think that's probably what they were trying to invoke.
They had cuddly toys, and like it's been known a very long time that like Star Fox was based upon Thunderbirds.
Yeah. So, and they told that story, that whole thing. So let's move on to Star Fox then. It is now known as Star Fox Zero.
We need to make the point that they transformed into the characters from Star Fox from their Muppets gradually. And if you've not seen it yet, you have to check it out because the art direction and the narrative that they're going for with that just worked so well to get to the first game.
Yes, indeed. So let's jump into Star Fox then. Star Fox Zero is the new name. And it is pretty much Star Fox 64 in HD, but there's lots of different stuff about it, and apparently it's being developed in collaboration with Platinum Games, which actually makes me way more excited for it now, given Bayonetta and how fucking awesome that game is. I'm pretty excited for this game, and this seems like the big holiday title, as I guess we kind of predicted in some ways.
Yeah, I'm really excited by what I saw. I was a big fan of Star Fox 64 3D, and it feels like they've really tried. I'm not, and you might disagree with me on this, Emiza, but I feel like they've tried to capture the N64 art style in an HD world, and I actually think it looked pretty good. I know that a lot of people have said it looks a bit rough, but I quite liked it.
Yeah, I definitely think it looks rough. Like, it's the sort of thing where I had hoped that they would, as Nintendo usually do, come up with a very unique art style for the game. It just felt like they'd HDified the N64 version, and it didn't really hit the mark visually. Like, it looked good, but it wasn't wowing me, and that's unfortunate because I think that Star Fox is the sort of game that can impress on a visual level, and it isn't showing off what Wii U can do very well.
And there's lots of tank transformations into like these walker things, and literally transforming between the mid-level and sort of walking about, flying about. I thought that looked really cool.
Yeah, that's great. The fact that like you're not jumping out of the vehicle anymore, but they are doing some land battle stuff, and there's this seamless transition to like being a Star Wars style walker.
Bear in mind, it's going to come out at the same time.
Oh right,
that could create a lot of hype behind this, actually.
Maybe
we'll see.
Yeah, maybe. So really does look like they're doing some neat gameplay stuff there. I feel like they are holding back a little. Like, it felt to me like this is the Super Mario 3D World trailer for this year.
You are going to get an awesome, Star Fox Direct in, September.
And I hope that's what happens, because knowing Platinum and the degrees to which they go crazy-wise, I'm expecting, this game to go off the fucking charts. Now, right now, we can't really say that that's, 100% going to be the case, but I feel like if we are following that model of, this primer trailer just to get us ready, and then, dropping the bomb later, this could be a very special game. I have faith in Platinum, and obviously Bayonetta 2 was my game of the year last year. I'm very excited for what they do with it. It's made me more excited than I was before, but I want to see it more in motion, and they have been streaming a little bit on Treehouse. I'm going to go back and watch some of that footage. Apparently it runs really nice at 60 frames a second. I expect no less from Nintendo, focusing on frame rate, and that could definitely help it visual-wise, because though the resolution and stuff isn't that high, the frame rate is what matters more, and I'm glad that they are prioritizing that. So that's good. Yeah, Bali, any other thoughts on Star Fox here?
Just that I think the motion controls are I just hope they get it right. I think they got it right for Splatoon. I know you're not a fan of those motion controls, but if the controls are anything like that game, I'm super happy.
Yeah, and they give you the choice as well. They said you don't have to use them. Great, that's what we need, that's what we want, so I appreciate that they're doing that. Okay, let's move on to the next announcement, which was a Skylanders announcement. They are partnering with Activision to bring Amiibo and special Skylander Nintendo characters to that game, which are also acting as Amiibo. This is just the sort of thing where obviously they are going to make a fuck ton of money, but also I couldn't give less of a shit. So I don't know, Bally. They announced Bowser and Donkey Kong are going to be playable in the new Skylanders game, and it's exclusively on Wii U, of course, because Nintendo characters. And it's really weird because you turn the underside of the Skylander over, and you can flip a switch to turn it into an amiibo, so it will have the full functionality of a standard Bowser or standard Donkey Kong amiibo. Which is kind of cool, because if you can't find a Bowser or Donkey Kong amiibo, because they're fucking amiibo, then maybe you can buy this, because apparently Skylanders and Activision have sorted out a model where, hey, guess what? You can buy the toys that they release. So, there you go.
Yeah, I just think we're not the target market of this game, and I'm sure to lots of young people it looked cool, or maybe not. I'm not in the mind of a young person, but yeah, cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can move on from that. I don't want to dwell and spend too much time on that. So let's move on to Zelda, which surprisingly there was Zelda announcements. Of course, nothing on the Wii U game. We kind of had maybe a prediction that Zelda would be shown, the Wii U one, but unfortunately,
Zelda Sonic Heroes.
Yeah. Instead, we get that game. So Triforce Heroes was announced, which just completely came out of left field. No one expected that. Pretty much like the spiritual successor to Legend of Zelda 4 Swords, although you have 3 players this time in a multiplayer setting. Seems to be using the Link Between Worlds engine.
R.I.P. Purple Link.
Yes, Purple Link no longer with us, unfortunately, but he will be in our hearts for always. 3-person multiplayer, using the Link Between Worlds engine, and very much seeming like in the Wind Waker art style as opposed to the Link to the Past art style.
Yeah. This is easily the thing I'm most excited for from this direct digital event that I didn't know about before today. I am so excited. We're going to play online co-op Zelda, like MBZ. That is amazing. This year. That is really cool.
That is the important thing, to say that it is online multiplayer. I was waiting, and I was very interested in this game. I was getting excited, but I was tempering that excitement, because if they said that this was local and not online, I would not have bought this, and it would have been yet another disappointment to add to the pile. The fact that it is online multiplayer means that I am 100% in, and I'm excited for this game. But holy shit, they were very close to losing me, because it really, really just gets my goat. The fact that they consistently make these not online games, which are on 3DS, which have local options for multiplayer. it's such the Japan model, and it annoys me because that's their market, and people don't care about online. They always use local, and I'm thankful that for fucking once they did this, and it is an online game, so we can play it. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks so great. Like, just the idea of solving. I mean, it's all many of the similar ideas to Four Swords, but just solving puzzles cooperatively.
It's like taking on Zelda dungeons in multiplayer. Like, you just think about the possibilities of like the puzzles they can create and the different things they can do with having multiple people in a Zelda dungeon. So fun, so interesting, and like that is definitely going to be a good game for us. We can talk about it a bunch on the podcast because we'll be playing it together the whole time, which is great. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really fun. They really were focusing on this idea of a totem pole, where the three players basically jump on top of one another and create like height differential. So there's going to be a lot of puzzles involving that, I feel.
Yeah.
Kind of more 3D elements being thrown in there. It's coming Q4 2015, so that seems like the big kind of holiday title for 3DS, seemingly.
Yeah, I mean,
seems like
that and Star Fox and Mario Maker all this year. And more that we've not even talked about yet coming this year. They did pack in a lot this year. That is definitely the upside.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Like, there's good stuff coming this year. The problem with this digital event is that we knew about 90% of it. And that's why this is coming off as so disappointing, because E3 is where you want surprises and you want new things, and really we knew about most of these games.
Which is why Triforce Heroes was so refreshing and exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. It was probably the best thing to come out of the event. We're excited for that, and we'll be playing it later this year. They then continued the Zelda hype train a little bit with Hyrule Warriors Legends, which is the 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors, and that is coming quarter 1 of 2016. Not much to say on this. Neither of us care about Hyrule Warriors, and we'll continue to not care about it. So let's leave it at that. Moving on, Metroid Prime Federation Force. Bali, I made a prediction before this E3 that there would be a...
MBZ was right.
Hashtag NBZ was right in the worst possible way. I made a prediction that there would be a 3DS Metroid game made by Next Level, and that it would be a return to form. It would be a sequel to Fusion. It would be a lovely 2D, incredible Metroidvania-style game. And, that's not what this is. This is Metroid Prime Federation Force, a 4-player co-op in the Metroid Prime universe with an art style that looks like an early DS game. And also comes with the Metroid Prime Blast Ball thing that was shown off at the Nintendo World Championship, although it wasn't called Metroid Prime Blast Ball there, they just called it Blast Ball because they didn't want to ruin the so-called surprise of this reveal. I was right, because this is being worked on by Next Level Games. Bali?
I'm not going to jump wholeheartedly one way or another on this game just yet. I do think we saw too little, but the greatest concern I have is that the Metroid, and like I said, I've only played Metroid Prime 1 so far, but I'm going to play the other two. But the best thing about that game is the feeling of isolation and exploration. Those two things are so crucial to a three-dimensional Metroid. And I feel like this is going down the multiplayer shooter route. It looked incredibly shooty, incredibly multiplayer orientated, not a whole lot of exploration going on, definitely no isolation going on because you were playing with other people. And I am super concerned for this game. They are missing the point of Metroid, and I'm really scared that Metroid Prime is becoming Shooter Prime, and that's not what Metroid Prime's about, and it's really sad if it does turn out to be like that. But I'm still open-minded, still will potentially pick this up, and I want to find out more about this game because I'm intrigued, but I'm skeptical.
Yeah, we didn't see much of it, really. It was about 10 seconds, if that. So, not much to go on here, but I'm crushingly disappointed. Like, I am agonizingly disappointed that this is the Metroid game that got announced. And I just don't know how to feel right now. Like, I don't think they are doing anything with Metroid that is, like, going back to what it originally was. It feels like they've just abandoned that in so many ways,
Yeah.
and
And like Hunters was not. It really divided fans. There was really not group support for that game. Like I think after Other M, Hunters is considered like the worst Metroid, and like it's weird that they would go back to that. They've obviously seen some sort of market research or something that's suggesting that it has to be multiplayer and co-op and all this, and that market research might have been what created them to meant they went with co-op for Zelda. But to get co-op Zelda and Metroid both on 3DS, like it looks a bit simple, a bit obvious. Like come on, like.
It's like they wanted to hit the mark on two marquee franchises,
Yeah.
but they're not big console games, and they are not mainline games either. Like, there is no whiff of Samus in this Metroid game. You're
No.
playing as troops, like standard
Yeah.
Federation troops, and that is, like, so lacking in any character. It really feels to me like they just made this game, and then Nintendo told them to stick Metroid at the front of it.
Yeah.
It feels like they made Next Level went off and wanted to do their own IP, and this is what they wanted to do: make it this co-op thing and make it a cool like kind of space thing. And Nintendo came to them and said, "Put Metroid on that. Put Metroid Prime on that." And that fucking sucks. That fucking sucks. Really. So I don't know how to feel about it. Apparently it's coming 2016. There's no quarter said, so it could be any time next year. Hey.
Yeah.
I don't know. Alright, so then we move on to Fire Emblem, which is a little bit of happier news, but not that much. Really, the only thing we got was a reveal of the name for the Western Territories, and is now called Fire Emblem Fates instead of Fire Emblem Myth. I think that's a really good name, Bally. What do you think?
Yeah, it is a good name. It's a very similar meaning to if and potential and the future and fates and destiny. That kind of idea. It works well.
Absolutely,
You can say FEF.
FF. It's now known as FEF. Yeah, FEF. That new FEF game. Yeah, absolutely goes in line with the fact that they are kind of splitting the paths, and you have to choose which one you go down, and you'll change your fate depending on which one. So it makes absolute sense. I like it. It's short, sharp, to the point. They didn't say anything else though. The trailer showed us a bit more gameplay,
and it was in English.
Yeah, right. We should mention it wasn't English, so that makes us more kind of certain that it's coming early 2016. Absolutely, I'm predicting this is going to go in the Fire Emblem Awakening Bravely Default spot for their 3DS RPGs. So hopefully that will be the case, and we'll have it next year, and I'll be excited about it. But still no word on what the pricing is going to be for the US and Europe. No idea on that. So great. And then we had more Shin Megami Cross Fire Emblem, which, again, they didn't show anything that we hadn't seen before. This felt like the most obligatory trailer. Like, why was this in here, honestly, apart from to say it's still happening? Did you take anything out of this, Bally? Because I really didn't.
No. And it's still in Japanese, so we know it's a really long way away as well.
Yeah, like, no explanation, no nothing. No in-game footage, more anime trailers. Like, I'm excited about it. I want to play it, but fuck, man, like, really gave us 0 on that game. Next up, we have more Xenoblade. Again, we have had way too much footage. The game is already out in Japan. I wasn't paying too much attention to the trailer because, quite honestly, I don't want anything spoiled for me on this game. But we do have a release date. And it is coming out at the end of this year, thank God. In America, they confirmed it for the 4th of December in the Nintendo UK Direct, which I just had a look at to kind of pull all this information from. It just said coming December 2015, which has me a little bit worried that we might drop into a Captain Toad situation and have it slip to January, which would be frustrating. It's not the end of the world, but it's the kind of thing where I want to play this when everyone else is playing it. So we'll see. It's a good long time though, Bally. You'll have had time to kind of relax and not play a JRPG until that game comes out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are a few longish games I want to play before then, but yeah.
Nothing like Xenoblade.
No, nothing
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, both of us are really excited for that, and I'm glad, obviously, Bally, you've played the original Xenoblade. So
Look
now
out for our spoiler cast coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon.
Shouldn't be too long.
Then we have Animal Crossing. Yeah, Animal Crossing. Happy Home Designer is coming out on the 2nd of October. I literally have nothing to say about that, so I won't. Amiibo Festival was announced. Before this came on screen, everyone was like, oh my god, they're doing Animal Crossing Wii U! And it is an Animal Crossing Wii U game, but it is the Amiibo game that everyone's been asking for, because no game requires Amiibo until now, which is, I guess, this game. So this is a board game where you use Amiibo on a board with Animal Crossing characters.
There's like not even any mini games or anything. They were just rolling dice and getting money, and they didn't really show how the amiibos would work, and it looked really, really, really bad. Because as much as I wasn't excited for an Animal Crossing Wii U game, I probably would have potentially still picked one up, because I've not played Animal Crossing in a long time.
I mean, the DS game was your last one.
Exactly. So. Well, the Wii one, which I really burned me out because it was.
We didn't even. We don't count that. We don't count that.
We shouldn't. You're right. So yeah, I'm kind of in the mood to play another one, but there's no way in hell I'm playing that game because it looked absolutely terrible.
And you have to own an amiibo to play it anyway.
Well, yeah, I own two. I'll have you know, but.
Right, but did they say that you can use all amiibo? Because it certainly looked like they're just doing these new Animal Crossing amiibo.
Oh god. Well.
Right.
Yeah, oh,
right.
That is horrible. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Ugh. Fuck Nintendo. What have you done? Oh my god.
And like people, if you're considering, like, hey, I want to pick up this game and I want to buy all the amiibo that come with it, just don't. Like, honestly, spend your money on better games, please. Like, for the sake of humanity, because that whole collecting idea with this game, like, you are gonna spend a lot of money. Just be the bigger man.
Yeah. So next up was Yoshi's Woolly World, which both Bali and I just closed our eyes for most of this, because the game is coming out literally next week, and they spent like 6 minutes on it out of a 51-minute presentation. That is way too much time for a game that is so imminent. I understand why, because in America it's not coming out until October. But for us, it's literally next week, so I don't want to see any more of this game. I've already pre-ordered it, it's coming, and I'm very excited about it, sure. But it fucking sucks that they spend so much time on it, right?
Yeah, like, I completely agree. I can understand why they did it, but for someone who's already pre-ordered it, Nintendo, you're getting my money, it's coming in like less than 2 weeks. Just show me something else. Or like, even if they'd gone for the other game they're pushing at the moment with Splatoon, with some DLC or something like that, that would have been quite interesting, but
right, and this whole Direct lacked any DLC for Splatoon, anything for Mario Kart.
Yeah. Like, games that loads and loads of people are playing right now that would happily spend money on DLC, and it looks like we're not going to get any anytime soon, so that's a real bad move in my opinion, but I'm not a economist.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that works. All right, so yeah, we'll be talking about Yoshi way sooner than this game is even out in America, so look forward to that at the very least. Next up, a big game for Nintendo if they can do it right, and that is of course Yokai Watch. Yokai Watch, the very beloved Japanese kind of second coming of Pokemon, almost. It is huge in Japan to the extent that it sells like 4-5 million copies a year there, and like that in Japan is astro-fucking-nomical. Like that is 20-25 million in the West. If you're kind of comparing population numbers, this game could be a giant success here if it's done correctly, in the sense that the anime is all worked out with like that stuff, and then they have toys to go along with it. Like, in terms of a co-marketing effort, it needs to be kind of executed perfectly, and I think it could potentially happen. The game looks cool, and it's the sort of thing where it's like this very kind of refreshing take on that genre. It's an RPG, of course, and I'm interested in it, and I'm probably going to pick it up and check it out and see how it does, because yeah, I've been following this game for quite a while, and I'm curious about it. Is there any interest from you in Yokai Watch at all, Bally?
Not so much. I'm less interested, but certainly if you say good stuff about it, I would be interested. And yeah, I am interested in the sense of seeing how it's going to hit the West. And
right.
I mean, obviously that benchmark of Pokemon is a pretty high level to beat. But like, it's interesting to see how close they can come. I think that, as in terms of a cultural extravaganza, I think that is quite interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll await that with bated breath, and I think that is 2016 they confirmed, right? So I don't think that means, yeah, there wasn't any specific like quarter given, so could be any time next year. We'll see. So next up was Mario and Luigi meet Paper Mario in a 3DS crossover game, which another moment when I was like, wait, what, really? Are they actually going to do that? Yeah, Bally, what do you think of this?
It's all about the crossover games at the moment, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it really is.
I've never played any games in either of these series. I'm more interested in Paper Mario based on what you've said about that series, but I need to play some older games in the series before I'm interested in this, to be honest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It looked interesting, but yeah, I'm not over the top about it.
Yeah, so you see, I'm really worried about this. Like, it's using the art style that they used in Dream Team Brothers, which I think is god fucking awful. It's one of the ugliest games Nintendo has ever made. It's not Nintendo, of course. It's Alpha Dream, who are the people who make these games. And I'm not sure if this is co-developed by them and Nintendo or what's happening with it, but I guess we'll find out. That game, Mario and Luigi Dream Team Brothers, is one of the worst games I've played in a long time. Like, that game is, it outstays its welcome well beyond what it's supposed to. It's just a boring, terribly written, ugly game. Has annoying mini-game stuff, and the combat was just kind of bland. It didn't do anything fresh to that formula, and it looks like it's very similar to that, and I'm really worried that this is going to turn out, because this looks like it could be so cool. And even like the Paper Mario game Sticker Star on 3DS was like, it was a gorgeous game. It had so many cool things about it, but it was also fucking broken in its design. Like, if you didn't use a guide, you would no chance in hell of beating that game. It was so obscure with like the specific stickers you had to use and everything. And it looks like they're just going back to the standard kind of RPG battling system where you don't need to do that stuff, but I don't know, Ballet. Like, I should be excited about this game, but with the recent stuff that has happened, fuck, I don't even know, and I don't know what to think. So,
I mean, there's quite a lot of games this holiday, so we'll probably be a bit strapped for cash come spring. So maybe there'll have to be a few that get the chop.
Maybe, who knows? But at least it is next year, so I don't need to worry about it till then, and we will see. Yeah, that's the kind of game I'm gonna wait on reviews, see what they say. When I should be super excited about it, and it sucks that I'm not. But what are you gonna do? In any case, we move on then to Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Again, it's like this kind of second tier franchise announcement. It's a sports game. It's a Mario sports game, and it's the sort of thing where I'm like, none of those Mario Tennis games have been good since the Game Boy, and it looks like
lies. The N64 version was very good.
Okay, well, I think that came out before the Game Boy version, didn't it?
Same time, I want to say, but yeah.
Yeah, well, they're the same time period, right? So if we think about like since then, it really hasn't got much better. Apart from the GBA game, was that okay? I think you played that.
I didn't play that one actually, but my big issue with the GameCube one and what looks like this one is that they have these massive over-the-top power-ups between shots and in the middle of points, and it's like, and I'm a big tennis fan. I played a lot of tennis. Like, I'm really into tennis, and I just want to see Mario playing tennis. I don't want any of this Mushroom Kingdom stuff added on with the power-ups and the etc. Like, just give me Mario playing tennis with all his characters. And that's what the N64 version and the Game Boy Color version did so well, is it was a great tennis game with Mario characters. That's what it should be. Like, try and keep the power-ups out of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, or at least just put them in a separate mode, you know? Like,
yeah, and the GameCube mode did have a mode like that where you could take them out, but the physics were just so much more like constricted to the compared to the N64 one. The N64 one felt a lot more weighty and loose, and just a better game in general.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's the sort of announcement that I just don't care about, so it has done nothing for me. Do you think you'd be interested at all in this? Because I know obviously you have a history with Mario Tennis, so...
Yeah, if those people who love the N64 in color version, like I love, like it, then I'll maybe pick it up. But if it's just more of the GameCube version, then or the 3DS version, then it's not for me.
Right, like they made a 3DS version of this really recently. Like,
I think it was like 2 years ago, but yeah.
It was still pretty recent, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. So yes, then we move on to basically the last thing, which is just let's talk more about Mario Maker. We didn't know this was the last thing at the time. We both thought there would be one more thing at the end, which would be
yeah,
Retro's game, and we'd get that.
We were pretty burned out by the tripe that had been beforehand when this came bumbling on.
I mean, it was a really cool segment in sense, like, I think I need to go back and watch it again, because at the time I just wasn't paying enough attention. I was just sitting there anxiously awaiting a real big announcement.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I wasn't focused on it. But they were talking about this cool stuff about, you know, the original Super Mario Brothers and how they had graph paper when they were working on it, and like they still had those original sketches and everything.
And they've incorporated the grid into when you were making the levels and stuff. That is cool. Yeah, you're right. We were definitely in the wrong mood to be watching this very charming video, you might say, that they'd put together. And by the time it broke down into loads of people dancing to Mario and singing and being happy that Mario was 30 years old, and we knew that this was the replacement to another one more big game announcement, we both felt very, very low. Like it was not a good thing.
Not at all. They didn't really say anything else about the game, did they?
This was the time when they should have said, and here's how the ranking system will work. This is how you're going to be able to play the craziest levels, the best levels. We're going to sort them by doing X, Y, Z. You can share them with your friends. This is how you do it. Show us some screens, show us some gameplay, and it was not that at all.
Yeah, it just was more of wasting time, I feel. Like, more of padding, because they didn't have anything better to show. And
this is maybe nitpicking, but if you're going to celebrate 30 years of Mario, do not just focus on the two-dimensional stuff. Like, the three-dimensional stuff is so important, and we didn't see any of it. Like, come on, the Galaxy games, Mario 64, Sunshine, are all fantastic games that...
They're industry-defining games.
I don't think Mario would be around in the same way if they didn't exist. It's very hard to push him as only a two-dimensional character right up until 2015. So, yeah, exactly. Genre-defining. Mario 64, massive game. Like, talk about it. It's still Mario, you know?
Yeah, I was very disappointed that there was no kind of... I mean, and it is kind of a stupid thing to get excited for a remake, but... Like, that would have been better than half the shit they showed in this event, quite honestly.
HD Super Mario Sunshine would have been a nice tie-in, so they could have said, if you want to celebrate 30 years of Mario 2D, we've got Mario Maker. If you want to celebrate 30 years of Mario 3D, here's HD Sunshine. Boom.
Yeah. And then they ended it with a montage of fucking YouTube videos of people being Mario, and I was like, fuck this thing. I'm out. God, it was worse than the fucking fireworks Nintendo Land thing at the end of Nintendo's last ever.
And then they were like, send
conference.
us in your videos of Mario, and I swear they're just going to get a series of videos of people giving their middle finger to the camera, just saying, where's my Zelda, where's my Metroid, don't give me co-op games, give me Wii U, HD, Metroid, and Zelda, and we didn't get either of those, and that is a big shame. And
it's tragic.
We still don't know. This is the biggest question in my mind from this entire digital event. We do not know what Retro Studios are working on.
Yeah. It's still a mystery. It could again be another
F-Zero
disappointment.
2K16.
Valley, you are just after this digital event, that is so much further away from
right?
anything that we're thinking about right now.
F-Zero
That is
is going to be
fucking
morphed
astronomically
into a
far
mobile
from
game.
reality.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, like, I don't want to leave this on a negative note, but really, like, this is one of the worst Nintendo press conference things that has ever happened at an E3. It is miles apart from what they did last year, and it's to the point where I'm so uninterested in half of what they showed that I'm not even bothered about tuning into Treehouse Live. They don't have any roundtables this year, so there's nothing else to potentially get excited for in the coming days, because Nintendo used to do it where they would kind of stagger things. That's how we got the Codename Steam announcement last year. There's nothing else, and, like, now I'm just really depressed, and it sucks.
Yeah. And it's really the first we've seen in them saying, like, it's time for the Wii U's life to end, because we have, like, what of all those games we've just talked about, what games are coming out in 2016 on the Wii U? Because it just, for me, they are just signaling that NX, big thing next E3, coming out holiday 2016, because the Wii U got so little love for 2016, and I'm now 100% convinced Zelda Wii U is going to be on the NX.
It really feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really feels like they are letting it go and letting it die, and you see, like, how many 3DS announcements there were. I was shocked. I was fucking, like, thrown back by the number of 3DS announcements. If we think about this, games that we did not know about going into E3 that are on Wii U: Amiibo Animal Crossing and Mario Tennis.
Yep.
That is it. Amiibo Animal Crossing and Mario Tennis. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Like, Jesus Christ, what is happening? I cannot believe that that is the case.
They're shutting up shop with that system. It is so clear. It was, and I do think Zelda Wii U will still come to Wii U, but I'm convinced now that it is also coming to NX. It's going to be another Twilight Princess. It's impossible. It's impossible to try and see in my mind that there's going to be much between Star Fox and Zelda Wii U.
Yeah, I don't see it.
All the Metroids, the F-Zeros, the other big Wii U games we're thinking about, they have to be moved to NX. Like, Retro must be working on NX.
Yeah, as you said before, like, there's no point in wasting those games on a dying platform.
Exactly.
And
I feel like the decision to go ahead with Star Fox might have been just before that decision that the Wii was dead. Maybe they still had. Maybe their market plan was still that something could happen from the system when they decided, right, the next big game is going to be Star Fox. And maybe they just felt like they had to make Star Fox to show the use of the gamepad or something like that. And it looks good. It does look like a good use of the gamepad as well. But it's just nothing for 2016 Wii U. And if you compare that to last year, where we had Woolly World, Splatoon, Kirby Rainbow Curse, and there were like Xenoblade, these announcements for games coming to Wii U, and this year was just 3DS and nothing on Wii U.
Yep. Yeah, really, like, Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is the only 2016
That's true.
Wii U
That
game.
is true. That is the one we did not mention.
Right, aside from Zelda, of course.
But that is it. That is it.
That is it. That is it. And I guess that is it for this podcast. Sorry to leave you on a downer, but
hey, I'm pumped for Triforce Heroes. That is what I'm pumped
that's
about.
going to be fun. That's going to be great
good.
fun. We both are huge fans of Link Between Worlds, and it's using that engine, and it seems like it's a good team working on it. Star Fox, I'm sure, will be fantastic, and I'm excited about that. So, look, like, if we think about it in terms of games that are coming out for the rest of the year, it's a pretty good lineup. Like, we have Xenoblade, we have Mario Maker, we have, all these things that are coming. We have Woolly World next week. Like, there is a lot of good games coming to Nintendo platforms. We just knew about most of them, is the problem. We just knew about most of them, and they didn't have any big megaton, which they needed. They needed, and they didn't have it, and
I
Yeah,
also think the fact they actually mentioned NX in this direct was a big surprise, and that I think that is a big signal.
Yeah. I didn't expect them to say anything even about it, to even mention the word, and yet Reggie opens with that, which was...
What did he say? He basically said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be the focus of 2016" or something like that.
Basically,
He
yeah.
said, "We're going to talk about that in 2016." And it's like, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're going to be serious about it in 2016. I have a feeling that E3 2016 is going to be special. Hopefully, it will be. That's my hope. After this, I'm not sure you can get any worse. So we'll hopefully.
I don't know. Launches are always tough, and we're about to approach another launch of a Nintendo system.
But if what we predict is true, then we'll have one of the best launch games of all time. If Zelda is indeed moving.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. Let us know your thoughts on the Nintendo press conference, digital event, whatever you want to call it. You can email us at our email address, which is thisnintendolife@gmail.com. Also, keep up with us on the Twitters at TNL Podcast. We're doing our Backlog Club feature right now. We're playing a Zelda game. It's more than Nintendo are doing. We're playing Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. Bally and I are both a couple dungeons in, and we're both really enjoying it. We'll be talking about that probably in maybe a month's time or so. A couple of shows from now, I would predict, is when we're going to be talking about that. So about a month, you got to go on Minish Cap, get rolling through that game, and send us your emails about it, send us your thoughts about it, and tweet us all about the Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. Hope you're having fun with that. Also, if you can, we'd love you to review us on iTunes. It's E3. Usually we get more traffic during E3 than any other time of year because people are excited about video games.
So if you've never listened to us before, let us know what you think. Just hop over
Probably
to
a bad
iTunes.
first episode to jump in, isn't it?
Trust
We're usually
me,
quite positive about
I'm normally
Nintendo.
criticised for being a fanboy, so trust me,
Yeah.
we're normally better than this. But let us know what you think on iTunes. We really appreciate it. I was just reading through all our reviews the other day, MBZ, and there's some really, really great stuff there so far. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone who has reviewed us so far.
And yeah, we'll do in the future. So we can be found on many places on the internet. You can find me on Twitter at Lordnbz. Miiverse is Lordnbz as well. Bally, where can people find you?
I am at Ballyman91, BALLYMAN91, and that is also my name on the Miiverse. So yeah, check me out on there.
You can listen to us on iTunes, as we mentioned before. We're on Stitcher, which is a app on the phones, which you can listen to us, and it is a good one. We're on YouTube as well. So check us out, listen to our podcast, subscribe, always helps. And guess we'll see you guys soon, whenever we do our next episode. And we're so out of sync now, I don't even know when the next episode is.
Episode 43 is going to come less than 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, probably. We'll figure that out. Anyway, yes, once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.